Hey all, Ron here from Military Images Magazine with a new episode of Life on the Civil War Research Trail. Today I was researching the life of the Union general pictured here, Philip Henry Sheridan, when I came across a wonderful description of him that appeared in an Ohio newspaper from late 1883. I looked for the author of the article because I thought it was so well written, and it was signed only Carp, Carp. And I thought, who is Carp? So I did a little bit of researching, a little trip down the research rabbit hole, and finally found out who Carp was. First of all, he didn't need to use his full name because everyone who was anyone knew him. He was the talented celebrity journalist Frank G. Carpenter of the Cleveland Leader. Frank had a real gift for capturing a moment, and he had plenty of them as a syndicated correspondent in Washington, D.C. In fact, he was from Mansfield, Ohio, and one journalist wrote of him in that same year, 1883, quote, "A good many persons have inquired about the personality of Carp, the correspondent of the Cleveland Leader, whose stories are being copied more widely than those of any other writer in Washington. I can tell you that the gentleman is Frank G. Carpenter, whose father is a prominent banker in Mansfield, Ohio. Carp is a slender young man, not more than 5 feet, 8 inches tall, with a thin face, twinkling gray eyes, and a small sandy mustache and unmanageable red hair. He is popular, overflowing with kindness and good humor, always anxious to do you a favor, or at least to say a kind word. Retiring and seemingly slightly embarrassed, you would never take him for the brilliant journalist he is." So that's Carp, Frank Carpenter. I want to share with you that description of General Phil Sheridan. In late 1883, he's the new overall commander of the U.S. Army, replacing a guy named William Tecumseh Sherman. So without further ado, let me share this description of Sheridan from the pen of Carp. It's date-lined Washington, November 3rd, 1883. And here we go. General Sheridan took possession of the office as Commander-in-Chief of the armies of the United States yesterday. I found him this morning in the seat so lately occupied by bluff Tecumseh Sherman. It is one of the best rooms in the War Department building. It looks out upon Pennsylvania Avenue, just across from Corcoran's Art Gallery, and from its east windows, you have a good view of the White House grounds. The room is large and is hung with oil paintings of Western views, the taste of Sherman, who liked nothing better than life on the plains. The general, Sheridan, sits at a desk in the east end of the room, and Sheridan was sitting there as I entered today. He rose to meet me, and I paid my respects and those of the leader, the Cleveland Leader, in due form. Sheridan looks much more like a soldier than Sherman. He is very erect, though short and fat, and his air is martial and commanding. He dresses better than Sherman and looks as though he took more care of his personal appearance. He has a large face, a broad forehead, and fat cheeks of a dark red. He wears no beard, but his mustache, gray and well trimmed, is decidedly handsome. He is by no means a bad-looking man, this new head of the army. He has a brave look, and though his face bears many a wrinkle, as though much care had devolved upon him, it is a very pleasant one. His eyes form its chief characteristic. They are gray, small, and as sharp as a needle. They seem to look right through you, and they always look right at you when he is talking. They show you that he have a soul behind them, and if their owner is angry, they can, as the Blood and Thunder novel says, glare with a look of baleful hate. General Sheridan has short, stiff gray hair, smoothly combed, broad shoulders, and short, heavy legs. He would, I think, look bigger on horseback than on foot. And I doubt not that as a cavalry commander, he presented a very striking appearance. So there you have Frank Carpenter, Carp, to his fans, the celebrity journalist from the Cleveland Leader, stationed in Washington, covering the doings of the government with his meeting with General Sheridan, the new commander of the Army. I love the description. And those of you who follow those videos know how big I am of Civil War era photography and 19th century photography. I can't get enough of looking at these images, getting a sense of the soldiers, the sailors, the politicians, and other participants during the Civil War period and after. And so I like to share them as much as I can in these videos, but I also like to share these word pictures. There's folks like Frank Carpenter who were there in the moment, who were able to experience what Sheridan was like in person. And so when we look at a photograph like this one of Sheridan in his later years, you can see the wrinkled face, just as Carp describes, the short, tightly cropped gray hair, the neatly trimmed beard, the overall handsome appearance. But what you can't really get is those piercing gray eyes that could look through you or look directly at you when he was speaking with you. So the combination of the word picture of folks like Carp and images like this one, which, by the way, comes from the Library of Congress, from the Matthew Brady Studios, really together makes a wonderful, powerful portrait of one of the most impressive military figures in U.S. history. So thanks for listening. We'll see you on the next episode of Life on the Civil War Research Trail.